o'clock. This meeting will now come to order. But I'm going to ask for the invocation for Chaplain Mary Autry. Chaplain Autry.
Thank God for the Board of Police Commissioners meeting, God. We just invoke your presence right now in the name of Jesus. Thank you, oh God, for every dignitary in the room. Chief White, the mayor, oh God, I thank you and I honor you for what you're doing. I thank you, oh God, for keeping us protected from all hurt, harm, and danger. Thank you for your love and kindness and all of your tender mercies, oh God. We bless you and we honor you for favor in this meeting, that the words will go forth, God, and we will come to solutions and agreements. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, introductions of commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chair Brian Ferguson,
Here.
Vice Chair Annie Holt had an excused absence. Commissioner Cedric Banks, Commissioner Willie Bell,
Present, District 4.
Commissioner Linda Bernard,
Commissioner Linda Bernard, District 2, good afternoon, everyone.
Commissioner Willie Burton, Commissioner Lisa Carter, Commissioner Jesus Hernandez,
Present.
Commissioner Jim Holly,
Present.
Commissioner Ricardo Moore, Commissioner Quantes Presley.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now I'd like to have a motion for the approval for the agenda
So moved.
of 2023.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That motion, that agenda has been approved. Now I would like to have the minutes for March 16, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
It has been seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? That has been approved. Ms. Shaw, introduction of BOPC staff, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For BOPC staff, we have Mr. Robert Brown, Ms. Jonia Underwood, Ms. Teresa Blossom, Ms. Candace Hayes, Mr. Ainsley Cromwell from OCI, Ms. Melanie White from the administrative staff. We have HR Director Katrina Patillo, DPD HR Director Katrina Patillo, American Sign Language interpreters, Ms. Yakata and Dr. Stephanie Beatty. We also have Don Handyside, our court reporter. Media Services is providing the audio, and we have Sergeant Alan Quinn providing audio.
Thank you. Assistant Chief, who do you have, you're sitting in, sir?
Good afternoon. Assistant Chief David LaValle, sitting in for Chief White.
And who do you have with you today?
I will let the staff introduce themselves, please. Looks like that's it.
That's it. Welcome, welcome. Ms. Shaw, any elected officials?
We do have some guests here today to announce. Miss Marie Overall, we have, she's from Representative Tyrone Carter's office. We also have Miss Fredia Butler from the 2nd Precinct Community Relations, their president. And that's all we have to announce today so far.
All right, fantastic. Now, getting into the chair's report. First, I would like to apologize to the listening audience and the people that were in attendance of last week's meeting. It seems like this is becoming a broken record for me, right? I can say it a million times and it just doesn't resonate for some people, right? So this commission, we have spirited people on this board. So it's 11 of us. And we all have different ideas on how things should be ran and how things should go. And And some of us are very vocal about it. But I want everybody to know there's rules to be vocal, right? There's rules put in place. And I want to urge the commissioners to abide by those rules. So, because we do have things put in place to make those rules stick. And I don't want to do that. Because I like hearing your ideas, and I like hearing your thoughts, and I like the debate. I like it. But we have to do it in a respectful manner. We can't talk over one another. And that's not going to be tolerated anymore. I can't have that go through. Because now I have citizens calling me, telling me, make it stop. And that's what I'm going to do. Because the citizens are my boss. And I have to listen to them. So that's what I'm going to have to do within my power. There's a lot of things going on about how many minutes a person gets to speak. 2 minutes. That's what we have. We have 2 minutes to speak. Time yourself for 2 minutes and make it count. Make your 2 minutes count. I know I can. I've done it countless of times. Countless of times. One is a big story that I'm proud of right now. I can honestly say that I had to use my elevator pitch. And elevator pitches is like 30 seconds. And I had to use it because I wanted to keep my school open, Dawson Elementary School. And I had 30 seconds to make my pitch. And I want to say right now, Dawson is still open. Now, I can't say it was totally because of me, but at least I put it out there in 30 seconds. And someone was listening. And I want to say, when do we as a board get a chance to meet so we can hash things out? So we don't have to hash it out at a board meeting in front of the public. I've been told, and it's been on the record, that our parliamentarians said, if we are not voting on anything, we can meet, as long as we're not voting on anything. And I'm going to take some words from Commissioner Dr. Holly. She gets paid the big bucks. So I'm going with that. Because there's some things that's been happening, I have to get out to the full board. I have to. So that way we can discuss it. So we can figure out a plan of action instead of getting on here, roughshotting it and telling you in front of the public, and you feel like you've been blindsided. Well, I don't want to blindside you anymore. So what I'm going to do is say, okay, I'm going to be having a meeting, a get-together, an informational meeting, just for information only. We will be not taking any votes, and we won't be taking any action. But you're going to know what I know. Because one thing I want to be is very transparent. Honest. That's what I want to be. And that's what I've always maintained to be. And when my integrity is in question, I take that to heart. My PSA, I want to put this out to the news media. We need your help. The news media is good at reporting all the bad stuff, on stuff that happened. Help us. Help us catch these bad people. Or at least when we catch them, come back on and say, oh, you thought you was going to get away. We're reporting on them. We caught them. DPD caught them. Let this be a lesson. Stop doing what you're doing in the city of Detroit. Because we have a way of life, too. We should live without being in fear. And the police are doing a good job of catching them. They are. But we need some proactive stuff to make it stop before it happens. And I think if we keep putting it out there, quit, you're going to get caught. I think pretty soon it'll resonate. And we are trying to do something, because one of the calls keep coming in, my car got stolen. What are you guys going to do about my car? Well, guess what? They gave away over 600 locks last Friday. So that means at least 600 cars hopefully won't get stolen if you use them properly. And I understand some of the other precincts gave some away too. So we hear you. We're trying to do something. but we need your help. We do. Worst thing to do is get up in the morning and your car is not there. That's the worst feeling, especially when you knew in your heart you could have done something to make it stop. Put it in your driveway. Hit your alarm. If your dog is barking, get up and go see what he's barking about. Put lights around your house. Clean out your garage. Park your car in your garage. Talk to your neighbors. Get to know who they are. You don't have to like them, but at least know who they are. Look out for one another. We can make this stop. We can. We can. We sure can. My street, we brag and joke and crack jokes about our street is a green light block. Because all our neighbors, we look out. We actually watch cars back up down our street because they know everybody come outside and look, especially when they're trying to do something wrong on our block. And we have challenges too. But if we all can come together and convince each other, hey, this is our street. We want to come home to peace. And we duplicate that throughout the city of Detroit, that's what we have. We have peace. And I think that's all we want. Okay, that's it for my chair report. Now we have a resolution for Lieutenant Frederick Bowens. Frederick C. Bowens. Commissioner Bernard, would you do us the honors?
I need the resolution.
Oh, is it in your packet?
In your packet.
In your packet. Look right here.
Past
You
it.
just passed it.
Go right past the agenda.
Before this,
Right past it.
Pass it.
the lighter to read it.
President, you're a good reader.
Okay, here we go.
Y'all good.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're really
this is a resolution honoring Lieutenant Fred C. Bowens posthumously. Frederick C. Bowens was appointed to the Detroit Police Department on May 8th, 1989. Upon graduating from the Metropolitan Police Academy, Officer Bowens began his career in the 6th Precinct Patrol Operations Section. And whereas Officer Bowens dutifully served the 6th Precinct and the Training Academy, Officer Bowens displayed tremendous knowledge and leadership skills and was promoted to the rank of sergeant on August 7th, 1996. Sergeant Bowens was reassigned to the 6th Precinct and Tactical Services Section on May 4th, 2001. Sergeant Bowens was promoted to the rank of lieutenant. His assignments included being reassigned to Tactical Services Section, Mounted, Southwestern District, Police Reserve Section, Northeastern District, Tactical Mobile, 12th Precinct, Northeastern District, 11th Precinct, and Detainee Detention Center. On Monday, March 13th, 2023, Lieutenant Frederick C. Bowens, badge number 0296, passed away. And whereas during his law enforcement career, Lieutenant Bowens was the deserving recipient of a Chief's Unit Award, Departmental Citation Award, 2 Life-Saving Citation Awards, the Aretha Franklin Funeral Recognition Award, both Consent Judgment Awards, the Major League Baseball All-Star Recognition Award, the Rosa Parks Funeral Recognition Award, the Super Bowl 40 Recognition Award, and numerous letters of commendation from citizens and superiors. And whereas Lieutenant Bowens passionately served the Detroit Police Department and the citizens of Detroit for 34 years. His professionalism, commitment to public service, integrity, and dedication were a credit to the Detroit Police Department, and he was highly respected by his peers as a consummate professional. Now therefore be it resolved that the Detroit Board of Police Commissioners, speaking for the citizens of Detroit and the Detroit Police Department, awards this resolution posthumously in recognition of Lieutenant Frederick C. Bowens, 34 years of dedicated and diligent public service. His professionalism, integrity, and standard of commitment to the city of Detroit and its citizens merit our highest regards. We salute you, Lieutenant Frederick C. Bowens, for a job exceptionally well done. I move adoption of this resolution, Mr. Chairman.
And I second it.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? It shall be adopted into the records. Thank you, Sergeant Frederick C. Bowens. Job well done. Thank you.
Thank you to his wife and family for the sacrifices they made.
Yes.
Chief's report.
Assist-
Nothing, I was just,
Okay. Assistant Chief.
Yes, sir. Again, good afternoon to the board. I will start with the chief's report. First, giving an update on injured officers. We currently have 2 members of the department who are disabled and recovering at home due to on-duty injuries. Both officers were injured in car crashes. One is a police officer from the 10th precinct. The other is a police officer from the 7th precinct. COVID, we currently have 5 members that are quarantined or isolated. That's down from 13 last week. And only one of those members is currently testing positive, which is down from 9 last week. Crime data, homicides, we're at 51 right now. Last year, we were at 48. That's 6% up. Non-fatal shootings, we're at 143. Last year, 132, which is 8% up. Robberies, 297. Last year was 251, which is 18% up. And our total Part 1 crimes right now is 2,305. Last year was 2,204, which is 5% up from last year. A few significant events to report on, or significant incidents. The first is a double shooting, 1 fatal and 1 non-fatal involving juveniles. On Thursday, March 16th, 2023, officers were dispatched to the 13,000 block of Frankfurt to investigate 2 people shot. Officers arrived at the scene and observed the first victim, a 15-year-old male, on the ground suffering from a gunshot wound. Officers rendered first aid to the victim until medics arrived. The victim was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead on arrival. The second victim, a 17-year-old male, was also shot and transported privately to the hospital where he was listed in critical condition. Officers gathered evidence and interviewed witnesses at the scene. Witnesses stated they heard several shots and observed 2 black males run north from the location. Homicide detectives responded to the scene to conduct a follow-up investigation. Detectives canvassed the area for video, evidence, and additional witnesses. At this time, a person of interest has been identified who we are working to locate and bring in for questioning. Anyone with additional information regarding this incident is asked to contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. The second is a homicide. On Friday, March 17th, 2023, officers were dispatched to the 2000 block of Prince Hall Drive to investigate a person shot. Once officers arrived at the scene, they observed the suspect lying down in the front room with his hands behind his back, surrendering to officers. The suspect told officers where the weapon was located, that the victim was his brother, and that he shot him because he touched his clothes. The suspect was taken into custody. Officers continued to secure the location when they discovered the victim suffering from a gunshot wound to the chest. The victim was declared dead at scene. Officers also observed the victim holding a large knife in his hand while lying on the floor. Homicide detectives responded to the scene to conduct a follow-up investigation. Upon obtaining the information and completing the investigation, a warrant request was submitted to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office on March 19th. As of now, that warrant is still undergoing review. Third incident is a double homicide. On Saturday, March 18th, 2023, officers were dispatched to the 15,000 block of Hartwell to investigate 2 people shot. Officers arrived at the scene and observed the victims in the driver and passenger seat of a silver Chevrolet Tahoe. Both victims appeared to have been shot. Medics arrived at the scene and declared the victims dead at the scene. Homicide detectives arrived at the scene to conduct the follow-up investigation. Detectives canvassed the area for additional evidence, witnesses, and video. Witnesses reported hearing several shots and then seeing a dark-colored vehicle leave the scene. Anyone with additional information regarding this incident is asked to contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. Also, information on a non-fatal shooting involving police officers. On Monday, March 13th, 2023, officers were in the 6,000 block of East 7 Mile when they observed a white Ford Expedition and a brown GMC Tahoe firing shots at each other. The Expedition, which was traveling at a high rate of speed, lost control and crashed into several parked vehicles. Officers approached the Ford Expedition, and the occupant of the vehicle fired shots at the officers. Officers returned fire at the suspect and eventually took the suspect into custody. No officers were injured during the exchange of gunfire. The suspect was transported to a local hospital for treatment. Homicide Task Force was dispatched to the scene and conducted a follow-up investigation. The suspect was later interviewed by detectives and indicated that Detroit police officers did not shoot him and that he knew who had shot him. Detectives from the homicide unit submitted a warrant for the suspect to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office. Additionally, he was wanted on a federal felony warrant out of Kansas City, Missouri. Extradition arrangements are underway. A few announcements. On Tuesday, March 21st, Commander Melissa Gardner and officers from the DPD's 3rd Precinct held their monthly community relations meeting at 6 p.m. These meetings provide an opportunity for community members to connect with law enforcement, learn about the functions of their precinct, and strengthen the partnership between citizens and officers. New DPD graduation, Class 2023B. On Friday, March 24th, tomorrow, DPD will host the graduation ceremony for Class 2023B. Ceremony will take place at 10:30 a.m. at Greater Grace Church, located at 23500 West 7 Mile Road, Detroit, Michigan. 27 student police officers will take the oath of office to protect and serve our great city. A recruiting event, one-day hiring process. On Saturday, March 25th, DPD will host a one-day hiring event at the Detroit Police Training Center, located at 6050 Linwood Street. The event will take place from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. and will allow interested citizens the opportunity to complete most of the DPD hiring process in just one day. And lastly, to report, as the resolution was already read, that on Monday, March 13th, 2023, Detroit Police Lieutenant Fred C. Bowens passed away. Lieutenant Bowens was a 34-year veteran who was widely respected and loved throughout the department. On Friday, March 24th, his viewing will be held at Swanson Funeral Home located at 14751 West McNichols from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. The funeral service will be held on Saturday, March 25th at 10:30 a.m. with a family hour at 10 a.m. located at Perfecting Church, 7616 Nevada in Detroit. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Let the record show that Commissioner Burton has entered the building. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Presley.
Thank you. Through the chair, my question is more just a reminder. I requested several meetings ago that we might receive some data regarding closure rate with cases in DPD. And so if we can get an update on when we might receive that report, I would appreciate it.
Okay, we'll get it to you.
Commissioner Bell.
Thank you.
Commissioner Holly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Deputy Chief, one of the kids were my kids that the 14-year-old that did come to his death with the 17-year-old on March 16th. We having problems with the family burying the young man. I did the best that I've done so far, but I wanted to ask you, I thought there was something when a person is a homicide in the city of Detroit, there is a fund or something that the family can basically submit or suggest or get some help to bury that person, especially if they're under 18. Is there anything that you know that can help? Or can you, if you don't now, but you could call me tomorrow, if you would, please.
Yeah, we'll follow up on that. I know that there's victims assistance advocates
right.
at major crimes, and they're able to help with the victims assistance program through the state. I don't know about a fund that we have specifically, but
Or nothing in the
connect them.
city?
Not that I'm aware
Chairman,
of.
I think
Yes.
I can respond. The Victims of Crime Act Fund is ran by the prosecutor's office. Every person who's a victim of crime, whether it's a homicide or a robbery or rape, is entitled to compensation from that fund, or their family, as if they're not alive. So, yeah, there is a fund. I don't know that you run a fund. I've never heard that DPD did, but I know the prosecutor's office runs that fund.
And I thank you for that, Commissioner. I wasn't so much asking if you had a fund. I was thought maybe since you're involved in this stuff so much, that there may be something that families will be asking from the police department or from assistance in terms of helping. I mean, like, what was the age of the two double homicides? What were the ages there?
I don't know their exact ages, but they were not juveniles. They were older.
Okay, good. Okay,
Adults.
then. Not good, but nevertheless, okay. But thank you, Commissioner, and I'll see what
No
they can do.
worries,
But
I'll make sure
these
that they-
families are having a hard time with this, and it's just, and we got, I think we like about 40% of all homicides last year were under 17. And that's my, anyway, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Bernard.
Good report. I'm sorry to hear about the shootings and what occurred. I do want to mention to you, though, that yesterday I'm going to pull the full report. I was listening to a report on television about crime and young men, Chief, and what they were saying is that in almost 80% of those cases, there's no male figure in the house, no father in the house. And this particular group is out of New York, and it's trying to arrange for 1-year-long mentoring periods for young men. The fact that there are no men in the household, one, they said that you can't teach, despite what we all think as women, that we can teach anybody anything, that you can't teach a man how to be a man. And they said that even the responses that, like, perhaps we get at the police department and perhaps that the military gets in terms of recruits, the guys are just soft. They just don't know what's going on. They don't have that, whatever chutzpah is, that men usually have. And they said also that girls who are in those families are more likely to have children out of wedlock and prior to marriage. So there's a huge problem, and their position was to try to address it through mentoring. I don't know, I know that we have some programs, but are there any direct programs to assist young male, and because 85% of households now are headed by women, according to their stats. So, what can we do about this?
Well, we do have a program. It's run primarily out of the 9th Precinct. It's a mentoring program that some officers at that precinct run, and they're involved with it in some of the schools. The name of it slips my mind right now, though. I can't think of the name of it, but I'm sure it'll come to me in a minute. But we do have a program that we run through the department, and there's a number of youth that are involved in that program.
Well, obviously, we needed to be further than the 9th precinct. We needed in all 12 precincts, including downtown services, because that's where this problem lies in terms of violence and guns and what the chief calls making poor decisions.
Yeah.
There's just no man anywhere to provide guidance and just check kids, like, hold it here, that kind of thing.
Right.
So, anyway,
you.
but thank you for your report.
Wow, thank you.
And I'll bring that report in. I'm going to print it for you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Burton.
I'm just going to say I have no questions as of right now on the behalf of the community. But I'm just going to say thanks, Mr. Chairperson.
You're welcome, sir. Chief, I just got a couple of things. On the new non-lethal weapons, how close are we coming with that? The bolo, the
Right, okay.
thing you throw in to talk to the people for barricaded gunmen that we just had one like yesterday.
Talking about.
Well, that particular piece of equipment we don't have yet. Some of the others we do have in a small testing phase. They're being used by our CIT or carried by our CIT group. So the chief recently started an east side and west side teams that would be that are trained in their responding to mental health crisis calls, and those units were equipped with with some of that equipment in order to have many more options available to them to be able to deal with those situations. And that was just recently deployed in the last few weeks.
And they haven't used them yet, correct?
No, we have
Oh,
no incidents of them having to be used.
Yeah, because all the reports I've seen, people came out peacefully, you know.
Right.
So that's a good thing that CIT is talking them out. That's a real good thing, because that's what we're trying to do, is use non-lethal force, right? Especially when people are in crisis. That's the best thing. Another thing, the weather's starting to get warm, and the chief said something about ramping up the drifting and drag racing, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
You guys gonna get a handle and a heads up on that?
Yes, we will be out there early. We haven't deployed it yet, but like in the past few years, it'll be run out of our organized crime
Yeah.
division, and we will be out there in full force.
Now, will that also include the mini bikes and the
Yes.
dirt bikes too?
Yes,
Okay, ATV.
four-wheelers, ATVs, dirt bikes.
Okay, fantastic.
Hernandez, he was gone.
Commissioner Hernandez, no questions? Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you as
you.
always. Oral communication, Mr. Brown.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Chair, this honorable board. Currently, we have, get my list out, 6 speakers. I'll call those in attendance. Ms. Freya Butler, followed by Ms. Bernice Smith.
Fantastic. And remember, you have 2 minutes, and please give us some constructive criticism, something we can use, something we can help with.
Good afternoon,
Good afternoon.
Chair. As a community activist and sends out over 700 robocalls each month, my cry is wake up, sleeping giants. And to speak before you and others, I'm adding a quote from our United States Attorney General Merrick Garland to my presentation. I speak with no fear or favor, and from me, I'm adding with no affection. I come to these meetings to learn, get information, share my thoughts, and get help. I live and work in District 7. I have received help and information from Commissioners Bell, Commissioner Carter, Commissioner Holly, Commissioner Moore, Chief Investigator Akbar, and Ms. Blossom. I am concerned about our city and not just where I live. Several people have told me they only cared about their area. I cannot think in those terms because whatever goes on in our city affects all of us physically and mentally. Commissioners, many times I have stood before a clock to time my presentation and will begin again to do so. If I run over time and have not finished my presentation, I will stop when asked and speak at another time. It is important for me to attend these meetings and share with communities the information I receive and what I have stated before you. I am grateful that we are given the 2 minutes to speak. Thanks for listening.
Ms. Smith?
Thank you.
Go Bernice, go Bernice.
Ms. Bernice Smith is back.
I'm covered up because I don't have no teeth. Good afternoon, but
Good afternoon.
I am so glad to be here and be able to have the strength to come down here and see all of you and say a little 2 cents of words. First of all, I would like to make a suggestion to all our precincts.
Microphone.
Commander, look at me, baby. That can we start having meetings again at the precincts to let the neighborhood people know that they must have some hand in all this shooting and killing. I am so tired of looking at my TV at 12 o'clock and I see my chief on and I see my police department on because of things that's going on, shooting. A 13-year-old got shot last week. I mean, why? Why is this going on? Number one, where are the parents? Do you think I would allow you come in my house with a gun? I won't say the word, but you know what I'm saying. But anyway, heck no. You cannot come in my house. I want to have attention to what you're doing, and they should pay attention, but they don't do it. I blame the parents, mainly because you're not taking care of your adult children. If they're not working, then why are they running the streets shooting and going on? You can't walk down the street. I hate to watch my TV at 12 o'clock because I know something happened night before. And another thing, can we talk with these young men and these young ladies? If your mate is being hurtful to you or cussing you out and everything, why don't you leave them if it's possible? I know you can. I've seen people leave. Why you got to shoot the woman? I can't understand that. It hurts my heart when I hear it and see it on the TV. So I leave this with you. And where's the rest of our commissioners also? I don't see a full house here, so I would like to say something about them too. But in the meantime, be able to convey to the people here in this city that this is a good city and we don't need all this shooting and killing. I'm hurtful when I hear it on the TV.
Thank you, Mother Bernice.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chair, your next two speakers would be Minister Eric Blunt, followed by Ms. Brenda Hill.
Can you hear me, Board?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, this is Minister Eric Blunt. Chairperson Ferguson, your apology for last week's meeting is not acceptable. You create the environment, the atmosphere for this dysfunction and corruption. Your weekly public address statements that have nothing to do with police officer misconduct is only a reminder to the public and to the commissioners that under your leadership, police officer misconduct will not be the focus of this board as long as you are the leader of this board. Some may question why I cannot be silent. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's other famous speech entitled "A Time to Break the Silence," in which he stated that silence is betrayal. I am encouraged by the disruption on this board, and here is why. I experienced a message from God preached by the legendary Reverend Dr. Renita Weems at Third New Hope Baptist Church, August 25th of 1996. In her preaching, she convinced us that there are times when conditions are so bad that soldiers in the army of God have a God-given right to be righteously indignant. The conditions of this board fit this so bad condition she preached about. The hiring and firing before paying the Reverend Jerome Warfield is but another example of the corruption on this board. The lack of integrity and transparency in this process has led to what I believe is an historic first. Commissioner Bell, Burton, and Holly all agreed by their vote that the hiring of the OCI chief not be taken back to the commission, to a subcommittee. And again, they agreed by their vote.
Ms. Brenda Hill.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. And thank you for speaking about what's going on and how people are treating each other on the board. But I'm not concerned about that. Y'all can go for each other. In fact, I love it. A revolution is not going to be pretty. But however, week after week after week, you start out with that, but we don't get what is the biggest issue on this board secured, and that's the OCI and that department. And now we're on years. We're trying to hire people, and always some shady stuff happens. We need a better police department. What we're doing is not working. Violent crime and carjackings are up. I don't understand how we feel that we're going to surveil our way out of this. That's not working. How come they can see stuff at gas stations but can't see people carjacking folks. There's cameras everywhere. The facial recognition does nothing but over surveil an already stressed out population. We need a better police department. And that's not to say good things are not going on. But what you're doing at this table and what goes on week to week is not productive. It's not working. So you, Mr. Ferguson, needs to take another approach. And everybody on here needs to take another approach because we got the same problems week after week after week.
Mr. Chair, your next two speakers would be District 4 Community Advisory Council Scotty Bowman, followed by former Commissioner William Davis. Mr. Bowman?
Yes. Board, I would like to address this idea of, well, constructive criticism and, not being negative. First of all, every negative comment, every criticism contains a constructive criticism. If you're saying that their officers are doing something wrong or the board is doing something wrong, then what you're advising them is to not do the thing that is being done wrong. We had this thing with a minute ago, people talking about we had budget earlier. I'm sorry, I'm digressing. Earlier in the week, there was a budget hearing. And it was pretty much a done deal. It was basically being argued in front of council people shortly before they're going to vote on a budget. That isn't the way to do things. You want a constructive criticism? Here's a constructive criticism. When you are having budgeting priorities or any other major policy decision of the board, have meetings weeks ahead of time discussing that. Have a presentation, have public comments, do all that ahead of time, well ahead of it going to a final vote. Obviously, someone had to do a lot of work to put together the city's budget. And it certainly wasn't done within a few days. So obviously, someone knew what was going on long before the decisions were made, but the public was kept in the dark until the last minute when it was pretty much a done deal. So that's a big change that needs to be made. What should the priorities be? Yes, OCI, absolutely. We need to get enough people in there. That's what we need to do. And the board's job is not to pat people on the back every time they do something right, but to find those who do something wrong, which is actually an easier job since fewer people are doing things wrong than doing things right. Thank you.
Former Commissioner Davis?
Mr. Davis?
Good afternoon. Can I be heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I'd like to start off by saying that there are meetings at this precinct. Last week, I went to the second precinct. They had a good meeting. I had to leave to go to the city council meeting, evening meeting. We need stronger representation about what's going on. The board of police commissioners should be a shining light, not have so much. They need to get rid of so much cloudiness, and have true transparency, because, that whole thing with the chief investigator is terrible. It makes the whole board look bad, especially where y'all say, it looks like y'all trying to cover up, wrongdoing. It looks like y'all want to hire the white guy from Texas that the chief, that the chair of the personnel committee wanted from the very beginning. I need to do a better job on a number of things. I'm very disappointed. People ask me all the time, what's going on with the Board of Police Commissioners? And I have to say that I didn't think it could get worse, but it has. The Board of Police Commissioners shouldn't be there to be a cheerleaders for the police department. They should be there as a check and balance. They could recognize when stuff is going good, but there's a lot of stuff going bad, especially like the vast number of cases is not being closed, the vast number of crime all over this city. There's a number of things y'all should be looking into and raising concern about and letting the public know that you care what's going on in the community. Not just that you're there because you got a title and that's all you want. Y'all need to do a better job. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, that was your last speaker.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Let me clear up a couple of things. I'm hearing everybody calling in. We had 6 people calling in. I haven't heard one person say that they've been victim of any kind of police misconduct. Not one call. That's what we're here for. To hear if the police did you wrong, how can we make it better? Did your concerns get met through our OCI office? I haven't heard that. I heard none of that. All I've heard was complaining what we're not doing. But yet, I keep hearing you saying that this board can be much more. Well, we're trying to be much more by telling you to park your cars in your garage. Now you don't want me to say that?
Through the chair.
I'm at all at some of the comments I'm hearing sometimes, and I just can't sit back and just let you do that in front of the whole commission. That's not fair for every single commissioner that puts their time in to do the right thing for the public. It's not fair. It is not.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
My mic is not on, but that's not.
It's on.
Oh, well, I didn't see a green dot like the others.
It's on. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to make a motion at this time. It seems like a lot of our constituents that chime into these meetings has concerns about the whole chief investigator position and the OCI entirely. And so just to move along with the motion I'd like to put on the table today is I move that we post the chief investigator position. Do I have a second from any of my colleagues so we can have a discussion?
Hearing no second, the motion fails. So, listen, we hear you. We're trying to get this right for the chief investigator. We want that person to stay for the long haul, not just for a couple of months or a couple of years. We want them to stay for a long haul, at least until I'm off this board. Stay. We want you to stay, and we need the right person in there. So we will not speed through this process. We just won't. We could not come to agreement with the person that we sent the letter of offer to. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. We couldn't come to an agreement. And we have to move forward. And that's what this board is going to be doing, moving forward through the Personnel and Training Committee. And the chairperson on that Personnel and Training Committee is highly capable of accomplishing that goal. He is. And I have every vote of confidence in him.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can the Personnel Committee, if he would, or maybe he's not, ready to just let them know where we are with this, that there will be a report coming soon or something like that to help you out? Is that okay?
Would you like to, sir?
Sure. Through the chair, I'll remind you of last week's vote that this body adopted, which is for us in Personnel and Training to bring another recommendation by next Thursday.
That's all I'm asking to say.
So going back to last week, if we
Yes,
paid attention.
Yeah, but maybe then from Mr. Chairman, I'm just saying, based upon what we heard, I thought it was important that you said it again. That was all.
Yes. Say it again. And that's what we're going to do. Secretary Shaw, your report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I do want to announce that we do have Commissioner Moore on the Zoom.
Commissioner Moore on Zoom. And Commissioner Banks has joined us. Welcome, sir.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, through the chair. So for the secretary report, first we have incoming correspondence. Those are outlined in the agenda. We have the Detroit Police Basic Recruit Class 2023B graduation ceremony is on Friday, March 24th, 2023 at Greater Grace Church. The second is change of duty status to administrative leave without pay, but with medical benefits for MPO Mark Robbins, badge 3622, assigned to traffic reinforcement. We also received a letter from the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, NOBLE, regarding their 2023 annual symposium. And then we received 6 DPD policies for BOPC's review. The first is department internet usage, also court appearances, vice and narcotics, child abuse and safe delivery of newborns, training, and facial recognition. As mentioned in the incoming correspondence, the board received 6 DPD policies for review. In addition, there are 2 policies currently in review process with the board. Our executive manager of policy is researching to determine where we left off in that process, and we'll be updating the board next meeting on where we are and what steps are remaining. I would like to recap the policy review process when DPD generates that change, so I'll share my screen here. This is just a reminder for the board as well as the public. Can we share those screens in the room? Thank you. So this is a policy review process, and this is what happens when DPD generates the request. So step 1, we receive that policy from DPD, and then what happens next, basically at the same time, BOPC starts to do their research, and policy is posted for public review. That gets published for 30 days on the BOPC website, and the community is notified through various channels such as the board meetings, Gov delivery system, et cetera, and we are looking for feedback from the community on those. After that, DPD Policy Division provides a report to the Policy Committee. The Policy Committee reviews for changes, and then the Policy Committee votes to present to the full board. Last but not least, that policy is brought before the full board by the Policy Committee, presenting that full report for review and approval, and the full board votes to approve that policy. So we'll be taking those steps. In addition to that, we are reviewing this process for ways to increase input from the community and enhance the board's overall input on policies. The next thing I would like to update regarding administrative team updates is the administrative team is launching a community contact collection campaign to prepare BOPC to increase our community engagement. We have a starter list of contacts, but we need commissioners and the public's help to gather more. We're looking for the contact information for block clubs, community organizations, activists, and grassroots organizations, especially those who are focused on policing, as well as faith-based groups. The campaign will start at next week's meeting on March 30th. And first, I will be sending an email to all commissioners asking that you reply with any community contacts that you already have. But then during the meetings, we'll be collecting this information from the public as well. So our participants from the community can fill out paper forms. Those will be available at the welcome table starting next meeting. Also, the Zoom will be opening up the chat so that participants can send messages to the panelists and hosts with information regarding community groups. And we will also accept emails to the BOPC mailbox. There will also be a Google form that will be posted in the chat that you can submit that contact information as well. And then we'll be asking the chair to remind everyone at the beginning of the meetings to submit the contact information via whichever channel they choose.
Fantastic.
Through
Awesome.
the chair.
Yes.
Quick question, through the chair for our board secretary. Will we, as part of that contact list process, engage with the different district managers and deputy managers per district from the Department of Neighborhoods? Because I believe they have an existing list of, a running list of block clubs already per district.
Absolutely, through the chair, absolutely.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
If I could respond in part to my colleague's question. When I have requested that information in the past, Commissioner, I was told by the district chairs that they didn't want to give up that information because many people who are presidents or so forth of block clubs and other things use their home address and home phone number. So they viewed it as a security, quote, against us of all people, but anyway, a security issue. So perhaps we can resolve that. There are only 7 district managers, and those people should cooperate, I think, more with the commission, which is also elected. They're not elected, they're appointed, of course, and see if we can make some progress with that. But so far, it's been, mum is the word.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Chairman.
Through the-
Yes.
I raised the issue of concerns that Commissioner Banks has raised for three or four meetings. Where do we stand in reference to the 300 cases that's sitting there from backlog and the 200-some cases that's been confiscated? So it's narrowed down to about 600 cases that's been idle. And my understanding that the office not only concentrating on active cases, but what is the status of the 600 cases that in backlog?
Think your numbers are wrong for the 600. I could be wrong myself, but we do have someone here that will be able to answer that for you. And it wasn't 200 cases that they took. It was boxes of cases that they took.
What is
I
the
don't know.
box?
I don't know
What is-
how many. I'm having a meeting with them on Tuesday to get the accurate number. So I'm not going to throw out a number. So, Mr. Senior Investigator.
Point of order,
Cromwell.
where are we in the agenda?
Through the chair, I do have a few more items in my report, if that's okay, and that includes the OCI update.
Fantastic. There we go.
Do that?
There you go.
Appreciate it. Thank you. I can actually skip to the OCI part if that's okay. We could just do that. Just a brief update in regarding to staffing at OCI. We do have 14 investigators, including our senior investigators currently on staff. We have 13 of those investigators currently in the rotation for receiving new cases. One is still in a training status and gets cases under observation. So based on our database yesterday, we have 485 cases that are open. 295 of those are aged over 90 days, and the other 190 are not, have not yet aged 90 days. So that's the status of our inventory at this time.
Could you repeat those numbers one more time?
Yes, sir. Through the chair, we have 485 cases in our database right now, with 295 of those 90 days or over aged.
Thank you.
So-
195.
For my last, I'm sorry, was there?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. Are you through? No,
I'm
go
not.
ahead.
Oh, she's not.
Secretary, go ahead.
Sorry about that.
You got the floor. I didn't mean that.
Thank you. No problem. Through the chair. I did want to also indicate that on the 20th, so Monday this week, the 2023-24 budget proposals for DPD and BOPC were presented to City Council, and the City Council did vote to move those into executive session. My last item for today is that there has been feedback at BOPC and the City Council meetings that the recordings and/or the meeting minutes can't be found on the website. So I'd like to share my screen and just take a quick walkthrough on where to find the information for the benefits of the community, as well as anyone else who is interested. So the best way to find the videos most quickly is to scroll down on our main page to past all the lovely faces of our commissioners to the BOPC meetings, links to recent Zoom video. And if you click on that and download the document, you'll see we have the video up from last week's meeting as well as the previous meetings there. And you'll see next to the date, it's noted if that was a committee meeting that the recording is for. So if you click on those, you'll be able to see those. Closed caption are not added into these. For those, you'll have to go to the city TV broadcast, and there's a delay on those being loaded. But if you want to see the video right away, you can do that. And then just going back to our main page, I'll let you know how to find the documents, scrolling up to the top. So on the right, there's a yellow box for the menu. If you click on that and go to events in the drop-down, click on the date that you want. So I'll click today. And then under government, you'll find Board of Police Commissioners, the water, okay. And then click apply. And then if you scroll down here, click on the meeting that you want. So for today, if we click on there, all of the documents for today's meeting are included in there. And those are the quickest ways to get to the videos and the documents if anyone's looking for them. Mr. Chair, that concludes my report.
Awesome. See that? So we heard your concerns. I heard your concerns, and we put something together. Now, I took a lot of hit for not putting the meetings up. I sure have, and I kept telling them that closed caption had to get up there. But if we had to put it up without closed caption, I'll take another hit on that one. But you deserve to see these meetings. You do. And if you can't see them now you'll be able to see them. And we showed you the ways to do it. So we have no excuses now. Yes, Commissioner Banks.
Thank you. Through the chair. Peace and blessings to you too, Mr. Chair.
Sir.
You're welcome. And congratulations, Ms. Shaw, for winning the secretary position, okay? Congratulations.
Thank you,
You
Commissioner.
speak well, okay?
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right. We talked about Ms. Maddox about last week that the Personnel Training Committee would look into that and give us a decision about Ms. Maddox. I know she has a speech impediment, but, you know, if we show mercy, the Bible says if you show mercy, you'll receive mercy. So I'm just hoping we can show Ms. Maddox some mercy, Mr. Chair. I'm waiting on that response from you, Commissioner Hernandez. Chairman Hernandez. How we looking? Do you have it today or next week? How we looking? I'm not trying to put you on the spot, though. I'm just asking you a question. How we
Point of
looking?
order.
Because we don't want to.
Point of order, Chair. Where are we in the agenda?
No, we're not there. We're not there yet, sir. That's okay. It's all right. He wanted to speak. Yes, that would
Say we not there yet.
no, that would be unfinished business.
Okay.
That's okay. You put it out.
Okay.
So,
It's all right.
Ms. Shaw.
Well.
You ready for your announcements? sir?
Yes, we're ready for the announcement.
Okay. For the announcements today, our next meeting is Thursday, March 30th at 3 p.m. here at Detroit Public Safety Headquarters. And the next community meeting is Thursday, April 13th at 6:30 at the, this will be the 11th precinct presenting at King David Missionary Baptist Church, 18001 Sunset in Detroit. For monthly committee meetings for April, we have the Budget Committee meeting Wednesday, April 12th at 2 o'clock. Then the Policy Committee meeting, same day at 3 p.m. And the Citizen Complaints Committee on April 12th at 3:30. The Personnel and Training Committee, please note that it is rescheduled to April 19th, and it is at 2:30 p.m. That concludes the announcements.
Now, there's going to be some changes to our monthly committee meetings. What I found out is their chairs of those committee meetings are having a hard time getting all the commissioners together for their respective committees on those days and times. So what I'm proposing to do is to let every person that's a chairperson for each one of these committee meetings, chairperson of budget, chairperson of policy, chairperson of citizen complaint, and chairperson of personnel and training. You set when you can meet. That means you will call everybody that's on your prospective committees and see when they will have time available that you guys can meet, right? And you guys set it up, but you have to do it in a time to where we can let the public know. So don't give it to us the last minute. Give it to us a couple of days before then. So that means you guys have to communicate with one another so you guys can put this together, guys and gals. Yes.
You call those committees again?
The committees are the Budget Committee, Policy Committee, Citizen Complaint Committee, and Personnel and Training Committee. So these times, we're going to do it for April the 12th. But moving forward, after April the 12th, I'm going to hold you guys responsible for putting your committees together and getting your people that's on your committees together. That means you're going to have to talk to each other. Email, do whatever you have to do. That way you guys can put it together for the public. And I think that's fair because it's rough trying to get everybody on one day.
Right.
It's rough. And I want everybody to be involved. So that's the only way I figure we can do it like that. So I'm telling you, this thing's constantly changing. I think this is a good change right here. If anybody have any other suggestions, please email me or catch me outside and say, I think we should do it like this. And I'll take a look at it. And we give the pros and the cons. No unfinished business?
Through the chair.
Yes, I'm sorry.
For announcements.
Announcements, yes, sir.
I'd like to announce that for the board to keep former commissioner, retired Commissioner Darrell Brown in his prayers. He just lost his sister, and funeral arrangements is scheduled tomorrow at 12:30 at Pye Funeral Homes. So just, if we can all just, keep him in his prayers. He was a former colleague. It's a sad loss to lose a relative. So maybe if the board can just reach out, to Commissioner Brown and just keep him in the prayers at this time. And,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have you in your prayer, in our prayers. This board does. I would like to say for the record that Commissioner Carter has entered. Welcome, Commissioner Carter. Yes. New business. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So sorry, it's still somewhat of an announcement.
Yes.
Well, two things. I'll hold one for the other one. But the quick announcement is for a lot of community members, it's the beginning of the holy month of Ramadan. So Ramadan Mubarak to anyone who practices. It's a blessed holy month for our Muslim brothers and sisters. So just want to acknowledge that different faiths obviously exist in our community, and we should embrace as such.
Fantastic. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to let everyone a lot of people in this room are familiar with the Detroit Association of Women's Clubs. It's the oldest club in the city of black women. They have been in a mansion down here near Brush Street for almost 100 years now. This weekend is their luncheon. They are honoring me as myself, Linda Bernard, my sister, Sharon Bernard, who was also a member of this commission. We're the first sisters to ever serve, as well as my niece, which many of you know, Judge Cynthia Miller on Wayne County Circuit Court. She's chief judge of the juvenile division. So that's on Saturday. So I just want to let you know. So that's that. Nothing else, Mr. Chair.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Congratulations, Commissioner Bernard.
Yes.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yes, sir.
That unfinished business, Mr. Chair, on Ms. Maddox.
Well, you had already said it, and he's going to get you an answer.
Okay, I thought I
He'll get
was
you an
supposed to mention it under unfinished business. So it's all, we all clear on that now?
Because you already did it.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. New business. I would like to have I'm going to read it. Closed session pursuant to Section 8A of the Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.268A. The BOPC's chairperson requests the board to consider discipline action for OCI Police Commissioner, Supervisor Investigator, and BOPC Executive Manager Policy. I need a 2/3 roll call vote. It's going to be required. So I would like to have a motion to go into closed door session.
Mr. Chairman, I think this is unusual. It's improper. It is go against the contrary to discipline procedure. You want a motion to consider, and you already put it out publicly, consider. This is totally inappropriate how we should conduct our business. DPD don't bring that type of matter to consider, and this board is totally out of line to entertain a motion of that kind. It's totally inappropriate.
If I may respond in part, Mr. Chairman?
Wait, we should be able to do that under discussion. So I would like to have a motion for that.
Mr. Chairman,
Second.
Wait, we have to have a motion. You have to state the motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
A second. Now discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
my unreadiness is that I'm uncomfortable having a personnel meeting, closed session, without the lawyer and without the parliamentarian. I feel that that is something that we need to always, I want to make sure we are correct. And so I really like my colleagues to really vote this down, because
That's good.
we should have a lawyer and we should have a parliamentarian procedure to help us, guide us through this.
That's good.
So we will not be able to have, I'll be comfortable with that, with this time procedure. I don't want, for whatever reason, I don't have to say it, I think everybody knows, if you've been, after 18 years and older, you ought to know by now that we got to be making sure that we are correct. So I'm asking you, I don't mean no harm to you or to try to do anything against you, but I do feel I'm uncomfortable without the lawyer and without the parliamentarian.
Commissioner Hernandez.
Thank you. Through the chair, I'll just state that I feel comfortable with the motion as is. I would second what my colleague just said in regards to the two colleagues or person or representation that we should have here.
Gotcha.
I
Any
agree.
further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Through the chair.
Yes.
And then yield.
Yes.
Thank you. We have not read of a legal opinion from the attorney, nor have this notice has been posted properly. And with the short notice, therefore, I actually agree with my colleagues, Commissioner Bell of District 4, and also Commissioner Holly, that we should not have this today.
Okay. Any other further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
I would hope that fairness in terms to the employees, there's due process. They entitled to, and this board is entitled to, may consider, based on verbal dialogue. Were you going to give us some written documentation, or are you just going to just speak casually to it? This is a serious matter, sir.
You're right.
And I think we should have internal investigating of this matter, what you want to bring versus off the top of your head.
No. First of all, I would like to tell the public, this is not off the top of my head. This has been brewing for a minute. And like I said in my opening statement, I've been trying to get the commissioners together so we can talk about issues.
But we don't have
And this is an issue.
in front of us.
So I understand that. I understand that. So, that being said, any other further discussion? We vote.
But we gonna need we missing two key people though.
Absolutely.
Those are two key people
You're absolutely right.
that represent us.
You're right,
The
sir.
lawyer, the attorney, and the parliamentarian. She's very knowledgeable.
Yes.
Very.
Yes.
So we need their skills right now.
Right.
Before we can make this decision.
You're right. Let's call for the vote.
So
Mr.
what are we
Chairman,
voting
Wait.
on?
Can
I'm
I
sorry.
make a friendly amendment to the I think I made the motion. I don't know who made the motion.
Yeah, you.
Okay. Okay, if I made the motion that we agree to have this meeting when both the parliamentarian and the attorney are present in order to assuage our colleagues. It's no big deal if we don't do it today.
Right. The motion was already out there, so we're going to vote now. So we can vote now.
Would you, who seconded the motion?
to go in-
Do you accept my friendly my amendment to the motion?
It was already seconded, so we're going to vote.
Thank you.
That's okay.
I didn't hear it.
Roll call vote.
Mr.
What?
Chairman.
I'm sorry.
I want to make sure we're clear on what we're voting on, because I've been here 4 years and a half, and I know a lot of times we go down to this place and somebody say yes, meant to say no, and say no, meant to say yes. I want to make sure we understand, please, can we have it read on the record, what we voting for?
We are voting to go into closed session. And after further discussion, you guys can vote it up or down whether to go into closed session. It's that simple.
There has to be a
Mr.
reason
Chairman,
for the
that is
close.
not the motion.
And then the second motion, and she's going to come up with after we make the main motion. The go into closed session is the main motion. So we already had that second, we already had discussion. We voted up or down. And then we can vote on her motion if she wishes to bring it up.
Because, Commissioners, we have the other matter before us about suspending someone without pay. So we have to go into closed session anyway.
That would be an officer.
No, we're not.
No.
No, we're not.
Never discuss a personnel.
No,
Mr. Chair,
ma'am, we're not on that one.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I believe the matter that Commissioner Bernard is referring to
Correspondence.
is the correspondence that came in from DPD regarding MPO Mark Robbins. That's a different closed session that we have to go into regarding suspension without pay.
Right, that's not before us today.
Right, that's not before us today. Would you like me to
No,
restate the
restate the motion.
before we vote for the record? So the motion that's currently on the table is to go into closed session today pursuant Section 8A of the Open Meetings Act, MCL 15.268A. The BOPC chairperson requests the board to consider disciplinary action for OCI Police Commissioner, Supervising Investigator, and BOPC Executive Manager Police, and that requires a 2/3 roll call vote to do that. And that motion has been made and seconded, so we'll go into a roll call vote for that.
Roll call. Roll call. Roll call. We're done. Not there, not yours. Go ahead.
Chair Brian Ferguson,
No.
Commissioner Cedric Banks,
Yes.
That's not the question, son.
Oh, we still want to close? Yes, I'll go in closed session.
He said yes.
Okay.
No. I got confused, man, with
That's
the two.
okay.
Which one is it?
I'm going no,
Okay, no.
with the two motions.
Okay,
Just
no, it's
one.
okay.
Just, we got, it's two motions.
Okay, it's okay. No,
Just one motion.
your vote. Go ahead.
thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Willie Bell,
No.
Commissioner Linda Bernard,
No.
What is the two?
It's just
Commissioner Willie Burton,
No.
Commissioner Lisa Carter,
No.
Commissioner Jesus Hernandez,
No.
Commissioner Jim Holly,
No.
and Commissioner Quantes Presley.
no.
Mr. Chair, the motion failed.
Thank you. So thank you. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. This meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.
It gets confusing.
Man, you just don't know. See the name.